All right, so Robbie Ray is out of the game. This game is taking forever. Forever. These games in Buffalo all take forever. But I wanted to hop on here and do something. I'm not going to do a highlight show tonight. I've been working on, I did a hype video that I launched earlier today. Just kind of a music video starring, or it was just highlights from the season featuring a song from Sia. Hey, quit it, Joba. My cat, Joba. Sia, the singer in that video. That's from a movie called Lion, which came out a few years back. It was a nomination for Best Picture, and it's a true story about this kid in India, very poor, and he goes to the train station with his brother. I think they were about 10 and 7. Hey! They were about 10 and 7. And the little kid falls asleep on a bench, and the bigger brother gets hit by a train and dies. And the little kid misses it. He wakes up, gets on the train looking for his brother. The train takes off and goes to a different part of the country. And he didn't end up finding his way back for like 25, 30 years. But this story is about how he used Google Earth to find his way home, and how he was adopted by a nice Australian family played by Nicole Kidman. I always forget that she's Australian, but great movie. That's where the song came from. It's called Never Give Up by Sia. And so that's where the hype video came from. So no highlights video tonight. I figured I would go live. I've got the Yankee game on. I'm going to put it on my tablet in the background. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't think you will be, but, you know, I'm going to try. We'll see. This is probably against MLB rules or whatever, but we're going to try it. Yeah, it's kind of far away, but I'm going to do a little narration. It is the top of the fifth. Yankees have runners on first and second, nobody out. Aaron Judge on the plate at the plate. They just knocked Robbie Ray out of the game. First pitch to Judge is inside. Robbie Ray had good stuff tonight. I mean, he's 94, 95 with the fastball. He's got a really good slider down and in. He was just burying it. Hey, Jack Arnold. He was just burying it on Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton doesn't like those sliders down and in. What's up, you guys? Where are you guys from? I see Lamar and I see Jack Arnold on here. Jack Arnold was the name of the dad in The Wonder Years, one of my favorite shows of all time. Highly underrated show. Aaron Judge up 2-0 in the count. This is the first time in a while we've had the actual Death Star lineup. Judge, Stanton, LeMahieu, Voit, all those guys. Maryland's not lame. My company's in Maryland. I work remotely. Columbia. Judge. 2-0 pitch. Come on. Fastball. Ooh, that was outside. Outside, just off the outside corner, but it got called a strike, 95 miles an hour. So, yeah, the Yankees have not had their full Death Star lineup in quite a while. Judge and Stanton obviously were injured. And then they eased them back, but they staggered them, back to back, so they weren't playing on the same day. So today's the first day that we've really got the playoff lineup, and they have not been that impressive to date so far. Robbie Ray just kind of shut them down, but they did work the count a lot, made him throw a lot of pitches, and he was out of the game, recording 0 outs in the fifth inning. I heard that Mike Clevenger got hurt tonight for the Padres. Do you imagine what the reaction would have been from Yankees fans if they traded the farm for Mike Clevenger and then he got hurt? You imagine how fast that training staff would have been fired? Unbelievable. But it happened for the Padres. I like Clevenger. He's a good pitcher, but it's a bicep injury, so he's probably out for the year. Those are slow to heal, especially especially for a pitcher. Judge fouls it away. 2-2, 96 mile an hour fastball from Cole. Looks like maybe AJ Cole. I'm not sure which Cole this is. Yeah, AJ Cole. Got the MLB TV on. 8 hits, 5 runs for the Blue Jays. 1 run, 3 hits, 3 errors for the Yankees. The Yankees defense has really been kind of sloppy this season. I'm not going to lie. I've been kind of disappointed in the way they've played defense. But Yeah, Judge getting a 2-2 pitch here. He can change this game with one big swing. AJ does the fake to second move. I hate that move. Has it ever worked, ever? I should take that back. Used to work for Jeff Nelson. Jeff Nelson did it a few times because he had that big, funky leg kick. He also did the fake to third, throw to first. They don't let you do that anymore. They don't let you do that no more. That's one of my favorite quotes from The Simpsons. Great episode called The Homer They Fall, where he comes out of prison to fight Drederick Tatum, who was like a fake Mike Tyson. And Mo, the bartender, trains him like how to box. And he shows him this old photo of him in like the 40s with a boxing glove on. He's like, yeah, they had like barbed wire on the boxing glove. And he says, yeah, they called that the stinger. They don't let you do that no more. So whenever I say that something can't be done anymore, I say, they don't let you do that no more. This is kind of one of those habits we pick up. I have a lot of those. My wife can tell you that I pretty much quote Groundhog Day, the movie, nonstop. Like if someone obviously dies in a movie or something like that, I'll say, he might be okay. If somebody drops something, I say, yeah, just put that anywhere. You know, and it drives her nuts because I do it every time without fail. So I was on Fiverr today, looking for deals, and I saw that somebody was selling like psychic readings. So I had one, and they said my new upstart business is going to be very successful. So that's this. So right now we have 4 people on watching this and 1 like. So not going so great so far. We are having a good year though. I'm having a banner year for my first year doing this. Giancarlo Stanton up with the bases loaded. He's the tying run. Fastball for a strike on the outside corner. I don't know if you guys are watching the game or whatever. They're showing the hardest hit balls this season, and Giancarlo Stanton has the top 2. He's actually got 4 of the top 5, or 4 of the top 6, and he's got the fastest at 121.1 miles an hour. He also hit a 483-foot home run, and he cues one. That looked like a fair ball. Ooh, we're going to have to get the replay on that. Called it foul. Stanton's not throwing a fit, so it must have been foul. Look, hey, bad camera work there. I'm blaming the cameraman. All right, I'm going to start reading the chat. Who do you think the Yankees should get in the offseason? Well, in MLB The Show, I picked up Trevor Bauer, but I don't think the Yankees are going to do that. I really don't know who the Yankees are going to pick up. I hope they re-sign Tanaka. I hope they re-sign DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu is going to be a guy that's going to cost them a lot of money because he's been so good the last few years. JT Realmuto would be a good addition. Look, they can definitely use some improvement at catcher. I was a big stan for Gary Sanchez when he first came up. Who should the Yankees drop? I'll get to that after I talk about Sanchez. Is probably one of the guys I think the Yankees should possibly consider dropping. Marcus Stroman. All right, we're going to show Marcus Stroman. I think that so when Sanchez first came up, he was so good, and he had such a good approach. He was balanced at the plate. He took the ball to all fields. He had power. He hit for average. I think he hit over 300 his first half season or whatever it was. The following year, 2017, he has another pretty good year. But since then, it's been all downhill. He's become one of those guys that tries to hit a home run every single time, and Stanton strikes out with the bases loaded. Eesh. Well, just 1 out. Really, the story of this game is the Yankees' defense. 3 errors in 4 innings. Can't do that. So who should the Yankees drop? Well, I think that they should move Sanchez because I just am not confident in his future. I think he's too streaky. I prefer a more consistent hitter, even if they're not as powerful. I like JT Realmuto. He's good on both sides of the ball. He's a good catcher. I'm just not confident that he's ever going to be the same guy. I keep hitting the light over here. I could see the Yankees moving Mike Tauchman. I know that he's a good outfielder, and he doesn't make a lot of money, so there's no real reason to trade him. But he really hasn't shown much with the bat this year. I think Brett Gardner's probably gone. Brett Gardner's a guy. He said he didn't want to retire, But the problem with Brett Gardner is he isn't any good anymore. He's he's dog shit. Sorry, my mom said not to swear, so I'm sorry. I'll try not to swear on this. But he's just not the same player as he was. Like, he'll get the big hit, but not against great pitchers. And I agree with Lamar in the chat. Clint Frazier, to me, is an all-star caliber player. Oh, man, Luke Voigt just took a cut there. He's trying to tie it up. It's 5-1 Blue Jays in the top of the fifth. Bases are loaded. Luke Voigt is up. It's an 0-2 count. A.J. Cole on the mound. But keep Gardner as a player manager. I don't think so. I think the Yankees already have a manager. His name is Aaron Boone. He's not going anywhere. I could definitely see. Sorry, I get caught up in the game. I could definitely see Gardner getting. Come on, Voigt. Yeah, I could definitely see. I said that like 10 times. I can definitely see. It's like a broken record. Brett Gardner coming back as a coach, but I don't think he's going to play next year. I really don't. AJ Cole's got just a ratty beard. He just looks dirty. He looks like he looks like Jason Shreve. Like they should be on Breaking Bad as dealers. Although he's a little bit too built for that. We need Voigt to turn on one right here. Come on. Oh, he fouled it off down the right field line. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah. The greatest of all time, Shreve. Yeah, I don't know. Top players in the offseason next year. I haven't looked at it. I know that this offseason, you've got Bauer. You've got you got Bauer and Real Muto are the two big ones that the Yankees should keep an eye on. But I just don't know if they want to spend the money on Bauer after spending the money on Garrett Cole. A lot of it depends on what happens this season. If you win the World Series, the pressure is going to be on to repeat, and people want to play for a winner. Voigt pops it up to second base. That's probably an infield fly. 2 outs. So, I mean, this is the type of situation that the Yankees need to, come through. How much would Bauer cost? I really don't know, but it's going to be north of $200 million. My guess, if I had to guess, he'd get something like Strasburg got last year, probably $250 million, something like that. He's pretty young. He's got just dynamic stuff. I don't want any part of George Springer on this team. He's a cheater. If you look at his numbers, he's a cheater. But yeah, Bauer's going to get $250 million for sure. And he'll probably get it from Los Angeles or Anaheim or, somewhere out that direction. I could see him going to Chicago. The White Sox have a lot of money to spend and they're getting good. So I could see that. I could see that happening. But I just don't see the Yankees spending on it, especially with the feud between he and Garrett Cole. Now, I think, grown men, they get over feuds in time, and they've both matured. They're both different people than they were in college. They're both rich millionaires now. They have no reason to doubt either's, intentions or work ethic or whatever it was that was between them. So, maybe a conversation. Maybe they could have a conversation this offseason if the Yankees are interested. But, I just don't see it going anywhere. Man, this game is taking forever. It is 8:51, and they are in the top of the 5th inning. Yeah, I mean, I Cole, Bauer, Tanaka, Devi, that is a really good rotation. But the problem is that it's going to be too expensive. You can't devote $60+ million to 2 players. You really can't. And Glaber pops out. So this is what I was talking about. Situational hitting. This is going to be big in the playoffs. Liam Hendricks is a good pitcher. Somebody look up the free agent pitchers and just, or free agent players in general and type them in the comments and I'll mention it. So PXNA says we have Sevy coming back. I wouldn't count your chickens before they hatch on that because Sevy just had the surgery in March. And generally pitchers these days, it takes about 16 months now. So you're looking at July, August before Severino could come back. So the Yankees are going to have to fill those spots, I really, I think you're going to see. If I had to guess the rotation next year, this would be my guess. And I don't have any inside information, anything like that. This is just my guess from watching the Yankees for the last 3 decades. You're definitely going to have Garrett Cole as your number 1. I think your number 2 next year is going to be Masahiro Tanaka. I think they're going to re-sign him. I think they'll get him somewhere cheaper than he's at now. Right now, he's making, I think, about $22 million a year. If you bring him back for $17, $18 million a year, you're still seeing that as saving, $5 or $6 million, whatever it is. So I see somebody Lamar listed the free agents. I'll get to that in a second. So Tanaka's going to be number 2. I think Jordan Montgomery has pitched well enough to be the number 3. I really think that, he's had a bit of an up and down year, but it's been a lot of bad luck. He's got the lowest exit velocity, or one of the lowest exit velocities, and one of the best chase rates in Major League Baseball this season. So there's no chance they're going to drop Debbie. Debbie's going to be in the rotation next year. Debbie's going to be number 4. So it's going to be Cole, Tanaka, Montgomery, Deivi Garcia, and then the number 5 spot. If I had to guess, I would say they bring back J Happ, and then they have Clark Schmidt as kind of the guy waiting in the wings, and you let those 2 guys compete it out. I think J Happ needs one more start to qualify for his option being vested, and so they'll probably give him a start. That will actually save them a bit of money. And I wouldn't count on Domingo Germán either, because Domingo Germán has not pitched in a year. He's going to take some time to get back into shape. He's going to have to earn his way back. So I wouldn't count on seeing Domingo Germán, open the season in the rotation. He's got good stuff, but he's not going to open the season in the rotation, I don't think. It's possible, but I really think they're going to want to get him some innings in the minor leagues to get used to being on the hill again, facing hitters, things like that. What do you see in the future for guys like Nelson and Schmidt? I really like Nick Nelson. Nick Nelson has dynamic stuff. He's got a good, repeatable delivery. He's got a lot of rise on that fastball. Just that means a high spin rate. He's got 3 quality pitches, 98-mile-an-hour fastball, good hook, and a solid changeup. His problem so far has been location in the major leagues. It's been sporadic. Some games it's really good. Some games it's not. So it's really going to come down to, him getting more consistent. You got to be able to throw, similar results every single time out there. Sorry, my voice is going. But let's see. Who else? Clark Schmidt. I like Clark Schmidt. I think he's got good stuff. I think his mechanics are worse than the Yankees fans want to admit. He opens up his front side. I don't have a baseball here. I usually keep a baseball. Hang on. So when you're pitching, and we're going to do a little demo here. Try and adjust when you're pitching and you're driving towards home plate, you want to keep those hips aimed at home plate until the minute you explode. When you open up to release the ball, you tuck this shoulder, and that pulls your arm over the top. What Clark Schmidt does is he drives forward and he opens his hip and he opens his front side, and that pulls his arm out here. That causes him to miss up and away with his fastball. And that's an easy problem to correct, but he has yet to correct it. My thoughts on Mike King. I think Mike King is overrated. Mike King has good stuff, but he's too inconsistent. His off-speed stuff is not good enough to keep people off of his fastball. I'm not saying he's not going to get better, but he didn't show me anything this season other than sporadic, I guess, decent appearances. Spencer Torkelson, I think that's the greatest name in baseball. Yeah, I agree with you, Adrian. I mean, you got to score bases loaded and nobody out. In the playoffs, you're going to need that situational hitting. If you're getting guys on base, which I know the Yankees want to do, everybody's got a high OPS. That means you're putting guys on base. You're hitting home runs, but in the playoffs, home runs are going to be sporadic. And against good pitchers like Robbie Ray and AJ Cole, it's going to be sporadic. So you've got to be able to situationally hit. And yes, three errors. Buck Adams, do you think Sevy will make a good comeback in 2021? So I mentioned this earlier. He's probably going to be out till August. If you think about Jordan Montgomery, he had his surgery on his elbow, Tommy John surgery, in April of 2018, I think it was. And then he didn't pitch again until August of 2019, or maybe September. He came back in against the Blue Jays late in the year last year. So he basically missed like 15, 16 months. Increasingly the norm. Pitchers are taking 14, 15 months to come back from surgery. Favorite all-time Yankees player, Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly, I grew up watching the Yankees in the late 80s and then all through the 90s. Mattingly was still on the decline, or he was just beginning his decline as I was becoming a fan. But the first Yankees home run, this is a great story. I'll just tell you this one. I went to probably maybe 7 or 8 Yankees games in the early 90s, and the Yankees never hit a home run while I was in attendance. One time we went to a game and we left early, and as we were walking out, Wade Boggs hit a home run, and we heard the sirens, the air horns, and we had just got out of the stadium. I'll never forget that. I'll remember that till the day I die. And then the next time I went to a game, or maybe 2 or 3 times later, the Yankees were playing pretty well. It was 1995. Don Mattingly was in a hot streak just after or just before the All-Star break. And I had told my brother that story on the way to the game. I said to my brother Chris, I said, I've never seen the Yankees hit a home run. And he knew Mattingly was my favorite player. And then Mattingly hits a home run in that game in like the second inning. My brother turns to me instantly and he reminded me, said, that was your first Yankee home run. I'll never forget that as long as I live. So shout out to Chris if you see this. That was a great moment. Mattingly hit one just over the wall. Then in the playoffs, we went to the 95 playoffs. Boggs hit another home run. Ruben Sierra hit a home run in that game against the Mariners. Who do I like besides the Yankees? I don't like anyone besides the Yankees. I watched a little bit of football. I grew up watching the Miami Dolphins. My brother was a Dolphins fan. I liked Dan Marino. He was in Ace Ventura. Alrighty then. Big Dolphin fan. But to me, I've stuck with them for a long time. And so before last season, I decided I liked Pat Mahomes and I was rooting for Kansas City. I bought a Kansas City shirt last year. So I was rooting for them. But, when I first started watching football, I was a Raiders fan. And I really like their new stadium, and I like the Las Vegas, and my dad's a Raiders fan. So I'm kind of rooting for the Raiders to do something in that new stadium soon. I think that would be fun. Let's see. Dodgers, Giants as a former New York teams are fun to follow. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of other teams. I stay so absorbed in the Yankees. I either watch, I watched every Yankee game, and then I used to go to Yankees Avenue and watch the highlights of every game, or ESPN or whatever it was. And then I subscribed to The Athletic, and I would read all the articles in the morning. So yeah, I follow the Yankees. I'm with you, Dominic. I do hope they win the World Series. I'm watching it. I'm watching the game right now. It's 5-1 Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. Runner on first. Luis Cessa pitching to Joe Panic. Joe Panic, formerly with the Giants. He's a guy that I acquired in MLB The Show, and he's done a nice job. Let's see. Let me go through some of your questions. Keep them coming so that I can add some stuff. Is that fully ramped up for August for Sevy? Yeah, I think Severino will be back in the rotation by August. And I think when you first see him come back, it'll be like 2-3 innings at a time. He'll probably start as like an opener. And then I think you might see him stretched out fully in September. If you remember Jose Fernandez, he's a similar type of pitcher, very young. He was about 20 years old when he had his Tommy John surgery. Severino's a bit older, but he came back the following year and made 6 starts after starting. You can look at his stats and kind of see when it was. Salvador Perez on fire, 2 homers tonight. Salvador Perez, I mean, he's a beast. My dad is a Twins fan, so playoffs are looking rough for our house. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but remind him how many times in a row the Yankees have beaten the Twins. I don't know. I mean, any team can beat any team, so I never really root for any team for the Yankees to be playing any team. I remember back in, I want to say 2002, I was rooting for the Yankees to play the Angels in the playoffs, and the Angels just dominated the Yankees in that series. Yankees make the World Series the next year, and then 04 they lose in the ALCS. 05 the Angels beat them again. I hated the Angels for a while. You think if Donnie didn't get injured and played during the 90s, he would be a Hall of Famer? Well, he was on pace to be a Hall of Famer. He had 222 home runs, but the vast majority of those were in the first half of his career. He had 9 Gold Gloves. He had about, I think, 2,000 some odd hits. He was the Yankees, top double leader for a while until Jeter broke that record, I think. So, he was on track for it, but you've got to do it. Staying healthy is part of it. You can say that Judge was on track to be a Hall of Famer after his first season, but the last couple of years he's had as many home runs as he had in his first season, basically. So, staying healthy is a big part of it. If you look at the guys who are in the Hall of Fame, they're all guys who stayed on the field, and that's a huge part of it. How much do you play MLB The Show? Well, when it first came out, I played pretty much nonstop. I've been playing MLB The Show since before it was MLB The Show, since it was MLB Pennant Race on PlayStation 1 back in 1996. I got the first edition of MLB The Show in, I think, 2006, maybe 2006, 2007, whenever it came out. But I pretty much had every edition of it. And when it comes out, I play a ton, but I don't really play online a lot because there's always a lag for me for some reason. So I mostly play franchise mode. If when the Yankees make it through the first series of the postseason, what does the rotation look like? So, all right. So let's say the Yankees get by the first round. It really depends on how those 3 games go. If the Yankees win in 2 games, then, whoever's going to start game 1 of the next series would be the number 3 starter. So it would probably be J Happ starting game 1, and then probably you go back to Garrett Cole for game 2 because he'll hopefully be rested by that point. You really want to take care of business. If you want to get the most out of Garrett Cole in this postseason, you got to take care of business early in the first round. You got to win the first 2 games because then you get a day off. Then you don't have to use your entire rotation. You can throw in Happ, and then you can go to Garrett Cole maybe on 3 days rest, 4 days rest. I'm not sure if there's a built-in off day or whatever, but I love franchise mode. Marlins are a fun team to rebuild. I like the way the Marlins have changed their ballpark. They changed the outfield wall color to a darker blue. I like that. Buddy, does it take 2 or 3 games to win the first? So the first round is best of 3. So you got to win 2 out of 3. And the struggle is that they're all going to be in the home teams. The higher seed is going to be the home team for all 3 games. Hi, AJ. Rays will be a thorn in our side. I'm hoping the Yankees can finally beat the Rays. I would love to see them go through the Rays and Astros and Dodgers. That would be beautiful. ALCS, it's hard to say. There's so many teams in it this year. To me, the Yankees and the Rays are the best teams in the American League. Honestly, the Rays strike me as a better team this year just because of the way they've played. But the Yankees really haven't been at full strength all season. But the Rays have played really well. They've executed, So it's all about, who's hot at the right time. In the playoffs, the best team doesn't always win. A lot of times it's just the hottest team. We've seen that over and over and over again. So in case you're watching, I just want to let you know, there's going to be no highlight show tonight. I'm just doing the live stream. I'm working on a Masahiro Tanaka season highlights, but you should do a video prediction of your playoff bracket. Yeah, I will when there is a playoff bracket. And don't sleep on the Astros. I'm sleeping on the Astros because they don't know what pitch is coming this year. And they also don't have Verlander. They don't scare me that much. Yeah, every time I do one of these streams, that's because I don't want to cut the highlights and make the hard-ass video in a game that we're winning. I'm going to do streams during the playoffs, though, I think. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the playoff games on my computer. But there's a good chance that I'll live stream the playoff games. Jack Arnold would agree. Have the Blue Jays locked up a playoff spot? I don't think the Blue Jays have locked up a playoff spot yet. I think if they win tonight, that might clinch them in a tie. I'm thinking about doing a contest for some art to get for a Garrett Cole line of clothes like hoodies, shirts, mugs, things like that. Are there any artists on here that would be interested in that? Winner would get obviously a hoodie, a t-shirt, and probably $100. Do you anticipate Yankees letting anybody walk this year realistically? I don't think James Paxton is coming back. Where's the cat? Yeah, I don't think James Paxton is coming back. I think his elbow issues were a big, giant red flag. He's had back surgery recently. He might very well bounce back somewhere. Hicks got under that one, but he's I hate how Hicks tries for a home run every single time. Not even with 2 strikes does he shorten up. But anyway, unbiased. Are the Yankees winning it all this year? If I had to go, I'll put it this way. I don't bet on baseball, but if I had to bet, I would bet on the Dodgers winning it all. But the Yankees have a shot. They have a shot. I'd say they have a maybe 5-1 chance. Would you rather have Garcia on the mound or Montgomery? Depends on who you're facing. If you're facing a team with an all right-handed lineup, then obviously you want the right-handed pitcher or whatever. Yeah, I could do that. Like Machine. Yeah, the Yankees can beat anybody. Do you move Andujar this offseason? No, I think you keep Andujar. I think Andujar wants to be moved, though. He wants to play every day. Garcia today, Monty long-term. I think Garcia, he's 21 years old. I think he's going to be a big-time pitcher. His velocity going down this year, I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's just not being stretched out. That concerned me a little bit. But he does seem to get a lot of soft fly balls and a lot of swing throughs. His mechanics are pretty good, but last time out they seemed a bit out of whack. I like his curveball. I wish he threw it a bit harder. He's got a good slider. I think Deivi Garcia's got all the tools to be really, really good. Game 1 lineup. All right, who's pitching? Who's pitching? And I'll tell you, you got a righty or a lefty? Who's pitching? Yankees and Dodgers World Series. That's what I would. It's going to be either Yankees, Dodgers, or Rays, Dodgers. Honest thoughts on Chapman. I think he's a little bit of a prima donna. He's got he worries me when he comes in to pitch, but he's got good stuff. The stats, the analytics don't lie. He's a good pitcher. I get worried when he's on the mound. I feel like he's a bit too obsessed with his cars and his image and stuff. I don't like the domestic violence thing, obviously. So not a big Chapman guy. Let's see. You're welcome, Sports Gamer, for the great content. I try to make great content. It's not always great. I do my best. I'm getting used to these live streams. It's going to be tough on my voice, though. I feel like there's kind of a big hole that has been left in the sports talk world by Giraffe Neck Mark. If the Yankees win the World Series, can you call out Giraffe Neck Mark? I don't know who Giraffe Neck Mark is. Stop it. Cat scratching at the couch. I don't know who Giraffe Neck Mark is. And so, no, I'm not here to start anything with anybody. I'm here to have a good time and make some money. I don't want any kind of beefs with anybody. There's a lot of content creators that like to go at each other and stuff like that. I'm not into that. That's a young man's game. That's an ego game. It's an ego-driven game. I just want to provide good Yankees analysis, high production quality stuff that I want to watch, that I can go back and watch, and and basically just do my thing and let the cards fall as they may. But I feel like there's a big hole in the sports talk world since Mike Francesa retired. I really miss Mike Francesa. He was one of my favorites. Simon Eddy source got too political. Look, I'm not going to lie. I follow politics. I am very political. I'm very active. I just don't bring it to my channel because I know that this isn't a political channel. You have to serve your audience. I know that my audience tunes in to see baseball stuff. They don't want to hear me talk about politics. When will Jason Dominguez be in the majors? My guess is when he's 19 years old, which would be 2022. I think Jason Dominguez, a lot of people are saying 2023, 2024. Nah, he's that good. He's that good. He's going to be a Juan Soto or better. They're not saying he's the best prospect since Bryce Harper, since Juan Soto, since any of these guys, Mike Trout. They're saying he's better. They're saying he's better than Griffey, better than A-Rod, and he's a switch hitter, and he's a great defensive player. He's already an above-average talent. I think you get him up there at 19. I think he's going to be the center fielder at 19 years old. Sports Gamer, to answer your question. I think he's going to be the starting center fielder, and that's why I don't think the Yankees are going to get rid of Hicks, because he's an affordable center fielder who gets on base and plays solid defense, and he's just going to hold the spot. Oh, Gary. Well, nice play by the Blue Jays there, but Gary getting jammed. So the Yankees go down quietly in the sixth. They're down 5-1. Jason Dominguez is the next Joe DiMaggio with power. I never got to see Joe DiMaggio, but he did have power. He hit over 360 home runs at a time when it was 457 feet to left field at Yankee Stadium, and he missed at least a year or two because he went into service for our country. So, props to Joe DiMaggio. My dad talks about how his dad, my grandfather, said that Joe DiMaggio, and he saw Babe Ruth, he saw Mickey Mouse, Lou Gehrig, all these guys. He said that Joe DiMaggio was the best he ever saw. The best I've ever seen, best baseball player I've ever seen is Ken Griffey Jr. I'm telling you, that 95 playoffs, he had 2 home runs. He had just the sweetest swing. You watch him take fly balls. You would see there was a shot in the game sometime where somebody ripped one into the gap. And I was like, oh, that's going to bring in 2 runs. That's going to be a gapper. And Griffey just kind of trotted over, snatched it like it was no problem. Ichiro, I saw him in 2005 in what could be considered part of his prime. He was about as good as it gets. When will Jason Dominguez play in spring training? I think you're going to see him next year, buddy. I think you're going to see him next year. What about Kei Igawa? Igawa was a turd. Mike Trout, he's really good. I've never seen him play in person. I was just talking about guys I've seen in person. Will Kratz and Gardner be back next year, in your opinion? Gardner, no. Kratz, maybe. Kratz, it really depends on what role he would be willing to take. Jason Dominguez lately a bit thick. He's putting on muscle. I mean, he's not fat. If you go watch some of his in-game footage, he's just really strong. He's bulked up. I could see them bringing Kratz back, Lamar, because it really depends on what they do with Gary Sanchez. If Gary's not back, if they decide to give Higashioka the everyday starting catcher job, then Kratz is a really affordable, really durable backup. He's going to be 41 years old, but he worked well with the pitching staff. He doesn't cost a lot of money. So, hey, I would consider it if you get rid of Sanchez. I don't know if they're going to get rid of Sanchez. What's the score? It is 5-1 Blue Jays. Blue Jays 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. Yankees 1 run, 3 hits, 3 errors. Luis Cessa on the mound, Bo Bichette at the plate. It is the top of the 6th inning. Oh, you're a Jays fan. Get out of here. No, welcome, Zendot. Do I think A-Rod is a Hall of Famer? No, I think A-Rod cheated. I think A-Rod cheated the game, and I don't think cheaters belong in the Hall of Fame. I do think A-Rod was an exceptional talent that didn't need steroids. And so, I get a lot of guys were doing it, and the ones who got found out shouldn't go in the Hall of Fame. That's just, hey, maybe it's a bad take. Maybe it's a hot take, whatever. But, I really, I don't think we should reward bad behavior. Oh shit. Cessa just got hit by a line drive. Looks like he might be okay. Looks like it might've got his glove. Okay. I thought for a second it got him in the face. He's all right. He's okay. It looks like it just got his hand. He's shaking his hand. Doing one of these. Doing one of these over there. Hopefully he's all right. I like Luis Cessa. I used to not like him at all, but he's been better. Do you think Cole will have a Cy Young type season next year? Yes. I think he's having a Cy Young type season this year. He's not going to win it, but I think Cole is going to win more than one Cy Young with the Yankees. He's just got one of those rubber arms like Justin Verlander, where he's going to pitch for a long time. He can throw 100 deep into the game. There's always the risk of injury, but if he stays healthy, he's going to win a couple of Cy Youngs for the Yankees. Tommy Kahnle back for the start of 2021. Not going to happen. Tommy Kahnle will be out for probably all of 2021. He had his surgery in late August. Pitchers, it takes about 14 months to come back. So we got Teoscar Hernandez up at the plate now, and Cessa jams him. Nice play by Luke Voigt. Gets the runner at second. In the next 10 years, how many World Series do you think the Yankees will win? I mean, who knows? If I had to guess, they didn't win any in the last 10 years. If I had to guess, I'm going to say 2. I don't know if it's this year, but I think they get one of the next 2 or 3, and I think they'll get one right after that. I'm not arguing that A-Rod wasn't a great player. He cheated, though. He took steroids. Hot take, Verlander will retire after surgery. I don't know. I think he wants to pitch until his arm literally falls off. But, there are worse fates than going home to Kate Upton. Why wouldn't you want Cole starting game 3? And if they went out before that, you have him game 1, the next series. I think you can't play for the next series. You have to play for the first series. You have to play to win the games in front of you. If you lose those games without Garrett Cole on the mound, how many people get fired? Everybody. In your opinion, will Aaron Judge be injured his whole career? That's a tough one. I'm tempted to say no comment. Man, that's tough. It's really hard to say. I've seen a lot of guys have that injury bug. I hope not. I really hope not. He's going to have to prove otherwise, though. So anybody wants to learn how to throw a curveball, I'm going to teach you. So this is your ball. This is the horseshoe up here. And then you got the 2 seams in here. The way I do it, you get this middle finger right here. Get your knuckle inside of that. And then you snap. Just learn how to snap the ball. If you can get it going straight up and down, that's how you spin a curveball. It's not so good anymore, but I used to be able to do it perfectly. This is from a no-hitter I threw in a men's league game on June 7th, 2008 with 17 strikeouts. I don't know if you guys can read the ball. I had it going that day. Not so much anymore. What do you think about Willie Randolph's Hall of Fame case? I like Willie Randolph as a player. I'm not as familiar with his stats. I never got to see him play. But I think he's an underrated manager. I think Willie Randolph should be a manager in the big leagues. I liked him as a bench coach for the Yankees. He's a guy who understands baseball. He understands the importance of defense, of running the bases, of situational hitting. He got along well with the players on the team. I like Willie Randolph as a member of the Yankees organization, and I wish they would bring him back. 4 errors for the Yanks. Let's see. It will suck to see Gardner leave this year. It'll probably be the end of an era. He is the last Yankees player to play in the old Yankee Stadium that has been since torn down. It still chaps me that they tore down the stadium because honestly, it should have been like a museum. Open it up for local teams to come play, little league teams to come from around the league to play, or around the tri-state area to play. Do you think the Dodgers are at a disadvantage going against the Reds and their starters? The Dodgers are a good offense, but that would be quite the upset if the Reds could beat them. And I agree, that's a really good matchup to watch. I'm rooting for the Reds in that series because if you get the Dodgers out of it, the Yankees have a better chance to win. But I don't think the Reds are a better team, but they do have some good starting pitching. I'll tell you what, I would love to beat up on Sonny Gray in the World Series. I know Sonny Gray was a Yankee and that he's gotten better and done better since the Yankees dealt him, but I didn't like his attitude. I just didn't like the way he talked smack about the Yankees after he got traded. Where do you think Severino will be in the rotation next year? I don't think he's going to be in the rotation next year. I mentioned this earlier on the stream. I feel like pitchers are taking a longer time to come back from Tommy John surgery now to make sure you don't have a reoccurrence. He had his surgery in March. That puts him out until at least the following July. And then I feel like they're going to need to rehab him a few games in the minor leagues. If you remember a few years ago, Jordan Montgomery was out from April, and he didn't get back until the following September. So I think you're going to see Severino in August of next year. Lions is warming in the pen. Oh, well, hooray. Scrap heap lefty. That's why we're not getting a recap video tonight, folks. Nobody wants to watch that. Let's see. Do you think the Yankees signed Bauer in the offseason? I don't. I would if I was in control of the purse strings, but I just don't see it happening. I just think he's going to be too expensive. I think he's probably going to cost $250 million. I think he's going to go to Anaheim, or he's going to go to the Chicago White Sox, maybe the Chicago Cubs. He's going to go to some place that is on the rise, has a chance to win, and they're buying that last piece in their estimation. And he's going to go someplace that allows him to use the modern analytics. He said he wants to pitch on 4 days. I feel like the White Sox would be a good landing spot for Trevor Bauer. Why do you think the team sounds so scripted in post-game interviews? Interviews are hard, man. Public speaking is the number one fear in America. Number 2 is death. So just to clarify, the number 1 fear is public speaking, and number 2 is death. That means to the average American, if you're at a funeral, you would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. So that's why they probably write up some common answers. They probably tell them what questions are coming. Who knows? But interviews are hard. They're not easy. Believe me, talking like this, I've been going for now 45 minutes. I actually did 15 minutes on a stream that was private by accident. So I've really been going for an hour. So I'm probably going to go pretty soon here. Just heard the Yankee Stadium was bad for wheelchair people. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not in a wheelchair. I do remember there were gigantic ramps, but I don't really remember. Sorry. It's been a long time. It's been 12 years since I was there. Sign Bauer and let Tanaka walk. I mean, the Yankees might do that. They might. They have, if you're spending money, if you're just going by cold-hearted, straight-up dollars, I could see them doing that. But I think there's more to a team than that. Tanaka's a beloved part of that clubhouse. He likes it in New York. He brings the Yankees a lot of revenue from Japan. So Tanaka's very popular in Japan, and so that's money. Bauer wants only a 1-year deal. Is that true? Where did you hear that? Reptilian shape-shifting master race. That reminds me of Ancient Aliens. I'm a big Ancient Aliens fan, and I just watched an episode about the reptilians the other day. Have you been to the new Yankee Stadium? Yes, but I've only sat in the upper deck. I sat in the upper deck section 420 behind home plate, and it was tremendous. I went for 2 games, July 3rd and July 2nd, 2015. One of the games, Tanaka pitched pretty well against the Rays, and then the next night, Brian McCann hit a home run to give the Yankees the lead. You have a nice night too, Sports Gamer. I'm probably going to go pretty soon too. Tim, what did Tim Anderson say about Trevor Bauer? I missed it. I like this. I actually kind of like live streaming because it means I don't have to write stuff. I don't have to do a lot of production. I can just kind of get this this background here thing. So let's see. Somebody's showing a thing here. Tim and oh, don't say that. Eddie, no, we're going to hide that one. Let's leave the racism out of it, please. 7-1, turning off the TV. Are there any position players that we need to re-sign anytime soon? Yeah, I mean, if you want to get Glaber at a decent deal, this might not be a bad year to sign him because he's had kind of a bad season. If you wanted to re-sign Sanchez, this would be a good year to do it. All these guys are entering arbitration pretty soon. I think they might sign Gio Urshela to an extended contract. So, yeah. Lions is coming in. And with that, I'm going to head out. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to this live stream. It'll probably be live and archived in a little while. No recap tonight. I will probably do a Masahiro Tanaka video tomorrow morning, just recapping his season. Thanks to everybody who came. Judge is going to get a big contract. Not sure when they're going to do it. They're probably going to wait till the last minute to see how those injuries shake out, if he really is an injury-prone player. So thanks to everybody who watched. Go watch the playoff hype video that I posted. Also check out there's a song from that video. It's called Never Give Up by Sia. It's from a movie called Lion. I talked about it in the beginning of the stream. Fantastic movie. You've got to see that movie. That's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the very near future.